Good Saturday afternoon to you, and welcome to Coping with COVID. I'm Tre Tailor. It's brought to you by South Carolina DHEC and the Office of Business Opportunities with the City of Columbia. Today, if you are having some financial challenges because your wealth and finances have been affected by COVID, this is the right show for you. Karen Jenkins, who is a financial advisor, joins us along with Optus Bank President Dominique Biarton. And we're going to give you 5 steps to help you with your financial health. We're going to do that in just a minute. But first, thank you guys so much for joining us. First of all, Karen and Dom.
Thank you so much for having us again, Tre.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys, we're going to come right back with them. But first, here are your COVID community updates. Want to tell you to check the ticker on the bottom for more information on what I'm getting ready to tell you about. Dina Javis was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and she gave us some information about your stimulus check. The IRS has issued a new phone number that you can call specifically about your stimulus check, 1-800-919-9835. That's 1-800-919-9835. There is also a taxpayer advocate office. Now, it's a different office in every city, every state, but in 72 hours, they'll call you back and help you with your issue. Go to taxpayeradvocate.irs.gov to find out where the office is in your city and town. COVID testing continues through the state of South Carolina. For the most up-to-date list of locations and times, you can go to either scdhec.gov or prismahealth.org. There, not only will you see a listing of all of the places, they also have multicultural language experts on site. You'll get a mask. And if you want to set up a COVID testing at your event or place of business or event, you can email acc-testing@scdhec.gov or call 803-673-6110. That's 803-673-6110 if you'd like to set up COVID testing at your event. You can call them 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Now, if you were one of those folks that experienced lots of delays during Election Day on Tuesday, well, they need you for poll workers. You can stop by the Richland County office or go to richlandcountysc.gov. There's also a number you can call. The young lady's name is Lakeisha Diggs. Call her at 803-576-1512, 803-576-1512, and you can find out how you can be a poll worker. We've got a primary coming back up, a runoff coming back up in a couple of Tuesdays, and also, of course, the big election in November. I'm Tre Tailor. Those are your community COVID updates. Of course, Coping with COVID is brought to you by SCDHEC and the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities. As many people are being affected by COVID, not only they're concerned about their spiritual, mental, emotional, physical health, but their financial health also. And if you're one of those people, like I said in the beginning, Karen Jenkins and Dominique Biarton are here to tell you all about what you need to do. So, Dom, you said that there are 5 basic tips that people, whether you are a small business or Karen, whether you are just a consumer, that people need to follow. Let's talk about the first one. Don't overreact or do overreact.
Yes. Thank you, Tre. Can you hear me okay?
I can. We can hear you.
Great. Well, thank you, by the way, for this opportunity. We want to be as helpful as we can to everyone, and just about everyone is struggling to deal with this.
Yeah.
We advise all of our customers and partners, don't assume this is something that's going to just disappear on its own. And so I had the privilege of being in Washington, D.C. a few months ago, right as the pandemic was away. A very good friend of mine who happened to be a senior policymaker in D.C. Was visiting with me. I asked him, so what do you think, if you were on our board, what do you think we should be doing? And he said, this virus is what the economy has been looking for to go into a recession.
Wow.
Don't assume it's going to be over, even in the best case scenario, once you have a contraction of 20% or more, and I think we'll be above that for this quarter, even if everything disappeared today, months and months of recovery. So what we're advising folks is overreact, but we don't mean overreact in a destructive way, hazardous way, but overreact meaning really assume that your business may be impacted for a lot longer, a lot deeper, and ways you can't even imagine today.
Right.
So, and I know that Karen and I guess we spoke a little bit yesterday about it. Karen, I know you're working in different industries across those industries. I'm sure you can share some anecdotes how this is impacted. But in our industry, banking, we touch businesses all across the spectrum, and we can tell you that they're doing a great job keeping up with the changes. But we're also very concerned. Some are trying to get started too quickly, and that may lead to some consequences, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah. So you're saying that Dom is saying basically, Karen, get serious about it because this is a serious situation. Don't think it's going to be over very quickly.
So I think that's part of the setting the proper expectations. If you have your expectations set that, hey, or if you were the one that when we first went down, we closed our office on March 16th. If you were the one that set the expectation that, hey, in 2 weeks we're going to be over this thing, you're pretty stressed about now.
Yeah.
But plan for the long haul, prepare for the long haul. And setting those expectations, just doing that takes a level of stress. But I think in the reacting or overreacting response, I would say on both personal and business, you have to do something.
Yeah.
But before you can do something, you have to analyze and assess where you are right now. So just like when you go to the doctor does a triage. You come in, they take your temperature, they take your blood pressure, they take your height, they take your weight. Well, now you need to do the same thing for your financials. You need to figure out how much money you have. You figure it on hand, how much cash you have. You need to figure out how much you anticipate coming in. Were you one of the ones that, you just had to transition from work to teleworking, or were you one of the ones that your whole income stopped, right? And then you need to figure out where are you going to be in the next 30, 60, 90 days? A list of your financials as far as what are my expenses? How much money do I need to spend over the next, like in this particular month, right? And then I call it your burn rate. How long will it take you to expend? If you got no more money today, how long would it take you to exhaust those funds? You're going to do this for your business and for your personals. So I'll use the example. If I have $1,500 in cash right now, I'm not expecting any additional money. I know my expenses for the month are $500. Then I have 3 months before I have to do something. I have to figure out where am I going, because at the end of these 3 months, I will not have any more income to pay my bills, to get gas. So when we talk about overreacting, it's really about doing something instead of being, you want to be proactive right now, even though we are kind of reactive, but you want to be doing something.
Yeah. Linda Phelps Walker says she's looking forward to this presentation. She loves hearing from Karen Jenkins. So thank you, Linda, for watching. And thank you, everyone, for watching Coping with COVID, brought to you by the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities and SCDHAC. We're talking to financial advisor Karen Jenkins and Optus Bank President Dominique Mierjon. Did I say that? I didn't say it right again.
Close enough.
Thank you. And I've got it written out phonetically. Anyway, Dom and Karen are with us today.
There you
and we're
go.
talking about the 5 tips to help you protect your financial health, especially during COVID. So the first one, as you guys said, was do overreact. Take it seriously and do something. And number 2 is one of those things that people should do, Dom, right? Which is call your creditors.
Absolutely. And so Karen, as always, she's ahead of me, but especially now, she already gave you some really great tips. And Karen rephrased our advice much better than it's really to be proactive. And so in that spirit of proactivity, the next step Karen mentioned is the cash piece.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take this in sequence. Proactive, overreact a little bit, assume that this is going to be longer. Which means, as Karen pointed out, cash is king. You're running a small business and you may not have access to significant lines of credit, or you may not want to access them because you don't know if and when you can repay them. So you want to be really careful. Conserve cash. So we always tell everyone, do everything you can to conserve cash. And it doesn't mean not pay your obligations. That's not what we mean, because that could damage your business irreparably in the future. So you always want to meet your obligations. How do you meet your obligations when you can't? Well, one way you meet them, we get these calls all the time at the bank. In fact, we reached out to over 400 borrowers that we had individually by phone, letters, and emails.
That's great.
Talk to us because we want to help you. And some were shocked that the bank was actually calling them.
Absolutely.
And by the way, we want to defer your payments if you're running out of cash. So what I mean by call your bank or call your creditor, don't assume it's just automatically be understood that you're under duress or under stress.
Right.
Don't make any assumptions. Make sure you get it in writing. Get an agreement in writing. If someone defers your payments, defers your rent, defers any kind of obligations, please get it in writing. Get an agreement signed so that one, it doesn't impact your credit if you structure credit. Two, you never know. It could be change in personalities or personnel at the institution.
Right.
You want to make sure that you have a clear understanding of what your obligations are and do everything you can to meet them, because when you get ready to restart your business, you want to have that relationship in great shape. So when you call your banker back or your creditor back, hey, I need a $10,000 line of credit to buy supplies for the next week for reopening on my restaurant, no problem. You've met your obligations. They're so eager to help. We are so eager to help. We're so eager to reopen these businesses, but we want to do it the right way.
So let me ask you, Karen. So when you're calling the bank, your creditors, as Dom says, are you saying? I mean, you're just telling them what the situation is. I've lost my job. I cannot pay. Is it appropriate to say I can pay a little bit a month, or should you just say I just can't pay, and I don't know how long it's going to be before I can pay? I mean,
So let me tackle that from a couple of places. And one thing I want to point out, and I heard it very clearly, normally when I do these sessions and I tell people what they need to do, my comment is that you have to do that assessment first, because when you pick up the phone, you need to know what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to know where you actually stand, because they need to know, and who's going to know better than you. But I also tell people that your lenders and your bankers are not going to call you, right? And they're not going to do a across the board thing. But I hope people heard very clearly that Dom said that Optus Bank did the reverse of that. They did what I call concierge service. Mm-hmm. Concierge service typically comes from the bigger banks with the much bigger client base, and they're only calling those clients. So again, listen clearly, when you have a relationship with your bank and your banker, you get service, and Optus Bank doesn't require you to have $1 million in the bank for them to take care of you. So I want y'all to hear that first and foremost.
Yes.
Things going on over the last 90 days with the small PPP loan, where there are a lot of the bigger banks that just cut out small businesses altogether, and in some cases individuals. So you might want to rethink your relationship and who you're banking with. And I know I bank personally with Optus Bank, and I do that for a reason. And it's because of this type of level of concierge service that I receive. So I'm gonna start there. The second thing I want to tell you is the reason I said that you have to assess is because you need to know, do you really need to make that call? If you look at your money and you can say, okay, well, I'm not as bad as I thought I was, then you don't need to make the call. Now, I will say this. Our banks, like Dom's Bank and other banks, that will delay your payment. They didn't say, not have a payment. They said delay the payment. For those of you who have not lost income, don't take advantage of this.
Right.
This is not the time for you to go, oh yeah, they said I don't have to pay for so and so, so and so. You're setting yourself up for failure because you don't have a problem right now. And when you don't make that payment, there's going to be something that happens that you say, oh, well, I can use that money for this. And then when it comes time to pay it, it's no longer there. Now you've created a problem that did not exist previously. So if you can pay, make the payments. If you can't pay, pick up the phone, contact your lender, be it the credit card company, the car loan, the mortgage people, and have an open and honest discussion with them. Yes, I am in dire straits. I've lost a portion of my income, or I've lost all of my income, and I can't make my payment right now. They are waiting for your call. They already have gotten hundreds of thousands of calls already. So you're not the only one, but you want to be in a position to say what you can actually do. If you can't make a payment at all, and let's use mortgages as an example, mortgage companies are set up so that they can defer your payment. It's something called a forbearance, and they will take those payments and tack them onto the back of your loan. So maybe your loan was supposed to get paid off in May of $3,000 or 2030, and now maybe it's going to be in July or something like that. So you have flexibility there. A lot of the lenders are also deferring or not charging you interest during this period of time. So that's going to be a huge savings for your lenders. But you want to make sure that you have written down what you can and cannot do. If you can do a portion. If you can't do it at all, be open and honest about that, and then tell them what you can do. And most of them will work with you. Now, here's the other thing. Let's talk about setting expectations. Don't pick up the phone and think that they're going to pick up the phone and answer you in 5 minutes. Okay, they're getting thousands and thousands of calls. So I take my phone, I make a call. And you get the little press 1, press 10, press whatever.
Yeah.
And then you listen to the elevated music for an hour. I just put it down and go to my computer and I'm working and I'm listening to, for somebody that will answer the call, and I'm getting other things done while I'm waiting for them. So I'm not getting stressed while I'm waiting on the phone with them. So let's set proper expectations there too.
Yeah, that's good, Karen, because you're right. You're already frustrated. You're already upset. You already got a million things going on. And now, one, you have that fear and anxiety of, I got to call my creditors, and then I got to be on forever hold. And you're right. You've got to recognize you're not the only one in the situation, which really is why creditors are even more lenient, because it's going on across the country. So while you're dealing with your one situation, the creditors are dealing with everybody's situation. So like you said, go into it knowing I'll probably be on hold for a minute. Go ahead and make the call, put your phone down, and start doing something else. And when you get it, oh, okay, there you go. Hello, how you doing? That kind of thing. So I love that you said that, because that is just so real. Vanita Jeffers says, thanks. This is great information. Thank you, Vanita, so much for watching Coping with COVID. Please continue to post and share this out. Karen Jenkins is a financial advisor. She joins us along with Dominique Miartan. I got it right that time, Dom, with Optus Bank. And they're giving us the 5 tips to help your financial health during COVID. Now, I'm hearing some feedback, and I don't know which one of you it's coming from. Dom, can you turn down? No, come off of mute, Karen. Oh, yeah. I was just going to ask if you guys could cut your volume down a little bit. I mean, I want you to be able to hear, but just cut it down a little bit, because I'm hearing some feedback. So let's go to number 3. Number 1 was overreact. It's an issue. Do something about it. 2, call your creditors. 3, conserve money. So what does that mean, Dom? We're going to go back to you. I guess it's just conserve money. Don't go out and with that $1,200 stimulus check and buy a big screen TV.
Well, yes, I couldn't have said it better, sadly. That is true. And at the risk of upsetting some car dealers out there, I will tell you there's some great incentives out there. But Karen is very very much right on the issue here. Conserving cash can be done in many ways, right? You can find creative ways to generate additional cash, or you can conserve what you have in terms of the expenditures. So when we talk about Karen, again, she's a financial counselor, she knows this, but we tell our customers, what are the discretionary expenses that you have? Mm-hmm. Everything from extra entertainment package on your phone or your TV service, or anything that you can reduce to conserve right now. It would be prudent, may serve you well, because maybe your income hasn't dropped today, but who knows, a 15-20% unemployment rate is going to have an impact at some point. So you ought to assume things may be going well today, but don't go out and buy that new vehicle and pay extra $100 a month in your car payment. Right. You have to give that up in 6 months. Also, if you have a dual income family, what happens if your family becomes single income? Mm-hmm. Someone gets furloughed. What if second wave occurs this fall, and the impact on employment may be even greater than the first time around? Exactly. So again, at the risk of sounding like worst case scenario planning all the time, but that's we're at Optus Bank and other bankers are in risk management business. So we're looking at the worst case scenarios all the time. What does this look like if this happens? Also, as Karen knows and pointed out, we're also a mission-driven bank, so we're accountable to our customers. If our customers get hurt, even if we're protected, we get hurt because our mission gets hurt. So we care a lot more than just about shareholder wealth. We care about our community wealth and community health. So let me break that down just in summary. Ways to reduce discretionary expenses is number one. There are certain things that our counselors, my counselors in the past always talk about. Is that a want or is that a need? Do you have to have it or can you do without it?
Right.
And number two, look for creative ways to generate extra cash. I've seen great entrepreneurs in our city, in our state, in our country. Some of them are existing customers. I'll give you an example. We have a customer who does landscaping and janitorial cleaning, just a hardworking person. And he was at a store, and they were doing deliveries because folks didn't want to come in. And he had a big dump trailer and said, "Well, I'll deliver the mulch for you." So he started delivering mulch and delivering from plants that folks feared. So he now has a whole new line of business that's generating more cash than he had before. So that's what I would say. Look at both sides on the expense side, but also there may be opportunities for entrepreneurs to actually make up that shortfall.
Yeah, that's so good, Dom. I want to get back to that, but I do want to ask Karen about when we were talking about conserving money. Do you suggest people like go through their subscriptions? Because a lot of times I think we have things on automatic draft that we don't even remember. You know what I mean? So do you suggest people do that and then maybe even go back through your bills, like your Time Warner Cable or Spectrum? Maybe you can lower this. Maybe they've got a new plan, your cell phone. Maybe there's a cool new plan. You know what I'm saying? Would you suggest that too?
All of that. So when we talk about that triage, right, we want to specifically list all of our expenses. And you bring up a great point. We don't want, some of our expenses come directly out of our checking account. Some of them come on our debit card or they come on a credit card where we're paying some type of subscription or app plan or whatever. This would be the prime time to go back and look at all of those expenses to see, again, what Don was talking about. Is this a need or a want? Or I have to have some place to live, so I need to pay my mortgage and my rent. My lights on. Okay. So, and then even if you're struggling there, you can call the electric company and get some type of plan worked out, or you can call the water company if you have to pay a water bill. Those things are negotiable in the crisis time. You need transportation. If you're going somewhere, you need your medication. Outside of that, everything else is fair game to be looked at to either pause, postpone, or cancel. Don mentioned if you are with the cable company and you have every TV channel, and I understand you're at home right now, but you don't, let's read a book, okay?
But I was getting ready to say that, girl. Read a book.
$300, cable bill. Maybe let's shrink it for a little while and ask them, can you postpone it for, even if you're under contract, ask them, can you shiver it down a little bit or pause some of the features so that you can save that money? If you are, some people do the iTunes subscriptions and have multiple Hulus and all these other things. Let's narrow it down. Cash is king. We need to figure out, again, until we get on the other side of this thing, how are we going to maintain our cash? And the only way to do that is to go in and look at subscriptions that you can cancel, either magazines or services or something like that. And that's going to be important. I loved what Dom said as far as generating additional cash. So that people are actually buying things right now. But, if you're sitting at your home all day long, this is a nice time. We're past spring, but you can do some spring cleaning. And I'm sure that things that might still have tags on them that still may nice that you can actually get and go online and sell, right? People still have needs. So if you have something that's just sitting there collecting dust, somebody else might have a need for it. Everybody has not lost income. Those of you who have not lost income, I hope you don't come out of this thing the same way that you went in. Gas prices are down. You're not going anywhere. So that those funds that you actually saved from this crisis, let's allocate them someplace in a savings plan or a debt reduction plan. When you look at the fact that you're not eating out as much because the restaurants weren't available, now you're cooking, there's some savings there. So you can identify places, if you still have the same income coming in, all of the money that you have saved or should have saved over the last 90 days, let's take that and put it into a separate savings account at a bank which you are not frequently banking at right now. And for those of you who are looking for one, there's Optus Bank. That's where I keep my savings. That's where I keep my funds, my reserves. I keep it with them for a reason. So when you're looking for an opportunity to figure out how you can do this, when you get on the other side of this thing, you'd be amazed at how much money you're going to have. Do the thing that I call the 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 rule. I do this with taxes. I hope you did this with your stimulus money or put it on the side. 1/3 of it needs to go to debt reduction. 1/3 needs to go to some type of savings or contingency plan for situations like this. And then if you want to take a third after the crisis, now I am talking about right now, after the crisis, just to buy yourself something that you wanted or wanted to put it towards something, then fine. But at least it was a three-pronged approach to spending that money, not just going wasting it on something. And, 6 months later, you don't even remember what you're spending on.
Right. And do you think that maybe people can, because it is such a sacrifice, give themselves a treat once a month or every other week or something? And if that treat is an ice cream cone or whatever, just a splurge day. You can have a day where you can do something nice for yourself while you are cutting corners.
And to be honest with you, splurging doesn't have to cost a dime.
Right. You're right. You're right.
You can pamper yourself. Ladies, for those of you who haven't been able to go to the nail salon, go and give yourself a little foot soak.
Yes.
Pedicure, right? You can have some quiet time when you just step away and tell your family, you know what, we've been in the house together all the time and I love y'all and everything, but I need a minute, right? So go into, get them to commit to giving you your quiet time and offer that to them. So there's things and simple ways of being able to reward yourself and to do things for yourself without putting your life at risk and your health at risk and your financials at risk. Let's on splurging for after this thing once we get through it.
Yeah, and I love too what Dom said about utilize this time to figure out what other skills you have that you could maybe parlay into another business. If we're talking about someone that is an entrepreneur, you got the idea for that business. If you just sit quietly, think, pray, whatever you do, something else will come to you, because there are some needs right now. There's a lot of COVID money going on. Many industries have gotten funds allocated to help during this COVID crisis. So what can you do to perhaps get some type of contract to do some COVID related something? So I think we can just kind of sit back and and you said the thing about splurge, I said this on an earlier Coping with COVID. I have rediscovered the beauty of a bath. Now, that's not saying I hadn't been taking a bath. That's just saying I was a shower girl, but I've got these 2 babies now. Shout out to you, Dom, with your 3. And, bathing them, I just realized how relaxing a bath is. And outside of my shower time once a week, I will, like you said, once the kids are down, I'll put on some nice music and, put the lights down low and just soak in the tub. And it's so relaxing and so refreshing. As you say, Karen, that's a splurge that costs me nothing.
It's very powerful just to disengage. And I'll be honest, let's talk about the disengagement while we're here on the mental health part. It is one thing to listen to the news and find out what's going on. Just to be kept abreast of what's happening with all the crises that we have going on.
Yes.
The COVID crisis, the impact that it's had on our economy, the financial crisis, and now what we're calling the racial pandemic. All of that is definitely getting on our mental psyche. But the problem is when you get on and listen to television and you're doing it all day.
Yeah.
You get up and you listen to the news in the morning, and then you in the afternoon, and then you CNN is around the clock, and all these other stations are around the clock, and they're talking about this. You have to disconnect.
You do.
This is what I call the great pause.
Yeah.
All of this is culminating because people are being still, but they're still putting themselves in a state of frenzy because they're listening to this stuff 24/7. You have to disconnect. I have a prayer porch. I was on my prayer porch right before we came, and I'm going back. There's out there, I'm looking at nature. I'm having a moment. So my girlfriend says it like this, when you talk about the news, sometimes you get up in the morning and you're getting ready to get some coffee, so you have to go in the bathroom, just dab off, wash off a little bit. And then sometimes you get up every morning or at night and you take a shower. And then sometimes you just need that bath. You don't need a bath in news.
Yes,
You
yes,
just
yes,
need a
yes,
dab. Okay. You
yes.
need a dab
All
to
good.
know what's going on or whatever. And then transition your mind to something creative that you can work on or that you can do, or meditation or prayer. And I don't want to take too much time, but I'm going to tell you, back in 2008, when we had the financial crisis, I was a financial consultant for WIS, but I was also a house counselor. And
Right.
I worked with numerous people to help them save their homes in 2008 from foreclosure. I cannot tell you the number of people, Trey and Dom, that I heard about that tied their identity, tied who they were to their house, their
Yeah.
car, their job, the position that they held. And when those things were taken away from them or put on pause, they committed suicide. So
Right.
when we talk about this mental health thing, it is real.
It is real.
People to understand is that you're not your job. You're not your title. You're not your car. You're not your house. And listen, I was in 2007, got laid off. 2008, in 2007, I opened up a company. It was a mortgage company. Of course, by 2008, it was, in the water because, we had gone through the crisis. But I lost my job. I created a new one.
Right.
That job or that company, I created a new one. We will get through this, but you have to understand that if when you get through this, you're not holding on to or have access to the same things that you had when you first started. If you lost your job, you can get another one. If you lost your car, you can get another
That's
one.
right.
Your house, you can get another one. If you're not in that same role that you were in, you can get another one. The blessing for me is that we can be on the other side of this thing and
That's right, Karen.
choose all of that. So please, if you're stressed out, if you're feeling some kind of way because you're locked down, or you're feeling some kind of way because you lost your job, or they're coming to get your house, whatever it is, this too shall pass. If you need help, there are counselors, there are people that can talk to you. I just want all of us to be on the other side of this thing and make sure that we're not tying our identity to things.
Yes, Karen, that is so good, girl. I feel like I can take an offering and do the benediction.
Hallelujah.
That's so good. That is so good because we do get emotionally tied to stuff. And like you said, this too will pass. It may take a minute, but this too will pass. But don't get caught up in it. Move through it. Move through it. Perpetual motion. Sandra Lasco says, amen. Thank you for that. Johanna Bridget says, a little every once in a while, you have to do something to support your mental health. And there's such a stigma. And we're off the topic a little bit, but this is on topic too, because and especially, Dom, I'll tell you, in the African American community, there's a stigma attached to mental health and getting something done for your mental health. And some people, it's a degree of mental health issues, but you don't have to get to the biggest, highest degree if you take care of those little things now. You got to take care of those little things now, those little itches, that little anxiety that comes up. So thank you for that, Karen. We're gonna, Karen Jenkins is with us. She is a preacher, and motivational speaker, and financial advisor. Dominique is with Optus Bank. He is the president of Optus Bank, and we're giving you your 5 tips to help your financial health during COVID. We're going to take a break right now, Dom and Karen. I've got to do some stuff for our sponsors, so we'll be right back with number 4, and number 5 of those financial tips. The show is brought to you by the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control. Please visit scdhec.gov for an updated list of testing sites and important information on how you can protect yourself, your family, and your friends from the coronavirus. SCDHEC, healthy people, healthy communities. Also, the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities, helping to meet the needs of small, minority, and women-owned businesses in the City of Columbia. Check out their upcoming webinars. They've got one Monday for the beauty industry, hear from OSHA, the State Board of Cosmetologists, also the Labor Board, and more, with info on how to open safely and responsibly. And then on Wednesday, the first in a series of Back to Basics financial workshops and webinars, Bookkeeping Boot Camp with Anthony and Hamilton Grant. Visit Eventbrite and search OBO for more information on both of those webinars and to register. Coping with COVID is sponsored by South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control and the City of Columbia Office of Business Opportunities. My name is Tre Tailor. Hey, don't forget that we are going to move Coping with COVID to the business page, Tailor Made Productions. So please remember to go over there, like and follow that page, so you not only can find out more about coping with COVID, but get your up-to-date COVID updates. We're back now with Karen Jenkins. She is a financial advisor, and also Dominique hold on, let me get my page because I'm gonna say it right. Miyarton, Miyarton with Optus Bank. Gareth Finley says, hi, Trey, Karen, and Dominique. Hey, Gareth, thank you so much for joining us on Coping with COVID. We've been talking about the 5 tips to help you with your financial health during COVID. We talked about number 1, overreact. It is a thing. So make sure you do something. Don't just sit back and do hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, and think that nothing's going to happen. Something's happening and you need to do something. Call your creditors was number 2. Dominique is a banker. He says they want to hear from you. Dominique has been gracious enough with their bank, Optus Bank, to call their creditors. Everybody's not going to call you. Everybody's not dumb. Everybody's not going to call you. So make sure that you call your creditors and work something out. Don't assume that they know. Number 3 was conserve money. Look through all of those subscriptions that you have. There, maybe you've got some automatic debits. You don't know where money is going. Make sure you know where that money is going, and maybe even go to your cable bill, your phone bill. Maybe they've got some better plans that are going to cost less money that you can resubscribe to. So that was 1, 2, and 3. Number 4, Dominique, is if you're a business owner, take care of your employees. Let's talk about that.
Thank you for the great recap, and I can't match Karen's great wisdom, but I'm gonna give it a try in terms of taking care of not just your employees, but you may be an independent contractor, you may be a sole proprietor, you may be at home taking care of your family and trying to keep the wheels on your business or your job. Right. And so, piece about the mental health. One of the things that we've been doing with my wife Georgia, and also encourage our friends and employees and colleagues, is create a routine of some kind with your family, and the special treats that you can find without going out and spending money, or going out to eat, or your routine that was before COVID-19 may be very different than the routine that is today. I'll give you an example. You know, we have rediscovered biking in our family. I take or Dominic Jr. with me almost every evening, and I'm to get home so I can spend that time with them, and it's become a family routine for us, and it's something doesn't cost any money. On some bikes along the side of the road that someone gave up months ago, and
oh my goodness,
riding them. So those are the things that we have found very helpful. Create a new routine from an employee perspective. Karen will have some, I'm sure. But you know, we started doing weekly and daily calls with the entire team. Center at the beginning of the day, start the day right with your entire team. Mm-hmm. So as you can imagine, Karen was mentioning the stress that we're feeling at the banks or the business is trying to take care of. I can give you an example. Before COVID-19, we had about 450 loans on our books. Today we're processing over 600. So at the end of this month, we very much will have maybe over 1,000 loans for a bank of our size.
Wow.
That takes tremendous toll on our employees. They're working 7 days a week. They're working from home. They're juggling family, work. A lot of folks want to come in. They don't want to telecommute. So all those stresses, you lose some cohesion. You lose some productivity in that, but you can make up for it. And so one of the things we do is we created separate routines. So in the morning we have our calls. Call everyone at least once a week or more frequently. Have just a conversation that you would have in the hallway that you may not have today. Those routines are both, whether it's your family or your business, creating those routines where you compensate or overcompensate for the loss of those routines that were pre-COVID. I find that very helpful.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by taking care of your employees or your family. Or your friends, your neighbors, go the extra mile for them. No, don't assume they're okay just because they look okay.
Right.
Because we're all facing tremendous stress, and I've got Eastern Bloc pessimism in me. I keep everything inside. I don't necessarily share everything. There are others that share more likely how they're feeling, how they're doing. Mile, or maybe the extra 10 miles to make sure everyone is okay.
Yeah, I love that, Dominique. Thank you so much. Because if we all do that, then we'll all be taken care of. Gareth says that your audio was cutting out. Yeah, we're trying to work on his audio. We tried to do that before we came on the air. But thank you, Gareth, for your comment about my voice and about Dominique's audio. I appreciate it. Karen? Yeah, I don't know if it's, I don't know why it is. It's just like sometimes we can really hear you, there's some words that we can't. So,
but to take care of it. So let me talk about this from a couple sides. So I'm going to talk about it from, Dom brought it up, it's the family side and there's also employee side.
yeah.
So, back in the day, Trey, I am, and I guess I still am, a financial, I call myself a consultant because I don't manage people's money. So let me I do this as a part of my passion. When I was doing it with WIS back from 2000, I guess 10 to 2015, it was truly my passion to help people empower themselves and themselves financially. I've grown my business to, we're doing well as far as our growth. We have 31 team members. I have another 16 contractors on my team. I still do this because although I'm running my business, I'm still passionate about helping people. And now I'm passionate about helping small businesses.
Right.
Let's talk about the small business or the business side. As a leader, this is the time that you, as we said, overreact, you over communicate. Your team members or your staff are looking for some form of leadership. Same thing with your family. If you're the leader of your family, your household, let's have a conversation around the pandemics, both of them really. Mm-hmm. When this first started, we closed our corporate office down on March 16th. We went into immediate communication mode. My staff, majority of them are working on my client site, so I don't see them every day. I see my corporate team every day, but I don't see them every day. But we had to go into immediate conversations with them. We had to give them what they needed. Everybody doesn't do well with teleworking. Everybody doesn't even know how. Right. It's something you say, oh yeah, just work from home. It's not that simple. So we actually ended up having virtual sessions to work with them from understanding security and what they needed to do to protect themselves and the company and our clients there. We talked about how to be effective in working from home because it's a totally different model than what you have when you're away. And not at the office. So we're giving them the support that they need. And it is the constant communication. It is the health and welfare checks just to call. Hey, I didn't want anything. I'm just calling to make sure you're okay and let you know, this is where we are. We just as a gesture, we sent out thank you cards to my team. And I put a gift card in there from Publix because I just wanted them to know I understood the plight that they were in. So it's the small things that when you show your team members just the slightest bit of care, in our case is more than a slight, and I'm sure in Dom's case is more than a slight. It makes a difference when you get on the other side of this thing. Yeah. I love my team. I know that I am here because of them. Some people say your clients are the most important when you look at the rank. I said no. My team is the most important because it's my team members that is an extension of me that helps me take care of my clients who are the most important to us. Mm-hmm. Being there to communicate with them and make sure that they understand that whatever you need, that we're going to be there to help you, protect you. We got your back because I know you have ours. So I agree totally with what Dom is saying. Now let's flip that to the family side. Same thing. They want to communicate. Your kids, if you're home with your kids, this is not the time to be quiet, especially when you talk about COVID. Why are we here? Let's understand the safety. Why is it important for you to wear that mask? Why are we going through this pandemic? And then when you talk about the racial side, don't push that under the rug either. These young people are the ones that are out there protesting and making the message are being heard. So you need to have conversations and open and honest. When you talk about downtime, game night, my family and I before COVID used to have this thing called Do Something Different Day. And maybe every other week or once a month, we would do something different, something that didn't cost a lot of money. But, maybe we don't typically go to the movies, so we went to the movies, or we don't typically go have a picnic in the park, so we did that. Guys, kids are resilient. You don't have to do a lot for them. A tent in the den, right? A blanket and some watermelon or something that you're playing underneath there, a camp out outside in your backyard. I mean, something simple. You know what? For the adults, go and teach your kids the games that you used to play when you were little.
Yeah.
Kids know how to play hopscotch. Do they know how to play jackstones? 1, 2, 3, red, Mother May I, whatever. But
red light, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, just
you hear me? So we got to go back to old school, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Kids want to know, well, Mom, what were you like? Or Dad, what were you like when you were coming up? What games did you play? Well, now we're sitting at the house all day.
Right.
It's an opportunity for me to show you.
Right. Gareth Finley says she's with the South Carolina Progressive Network leadership team, and they've been a long time standing customer of Optus Bank. Dom, she says it's a rare jewel, Black owned since 1921. So thank you. Dominique's mic is off. So thank you, Gareth.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we appreciate it. They're a real jewel for us, actually. We're pleased to be partnering with them.
Yeah, great. So the fifth one kind of really goes along with both, Karen, what you and Dom were saying in number 4 was, and I love this, be kind. Dom, do you want to talk about that?
So I think you got the sense from, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
So it goes really well with what Karen has been sharing about. One thing I have found in times of extreme stress is kindness pays off.
Yes.
10 times or 100 times. And I saw that in 2008 and 9 recession, when we were working with, I was in another financial institution, we were working with our customers, trying to help them through. Some of them are with me to this day, text me, call me, thank me for how well we took care of them. Mm-hmm. And so same thing with if you have a small business, go the extra mile, take care of them. I was very pleased. Karen recognized the stress. We are overwhelmed trying to keep our customers going. We're trying to process as many loans to help as many small businesses as we can, but that is straining our system. So we're having a hard time keeping up. Not able to get back to everyone as quickly as we'd like. We've hired contractors. We've hired 5 new bankers. We're hiring people as quickly as we can to make sure that in times of stress, we can not just be effective in helping them, but we can be kind. We have the time to take and assist our customers. I'll share a quick story with you guys, as you know, and not just a PPP related lending, but a lot of our really rapid change and massive change that they didn't anticipate. Every person is impacted to some extent. And so one morning I was in the bank, and we're still telecommuting, have a rotating schedule so we don't expose any of our employees. So I was the only one in the lobby, and I saw this lady outside the window. I walked outside, kept my distance. I didn't go closer than 6 feet. And I said, well, how can I help you? I didn't recognize her as a customer. I said, you all are processing my loan. Can you tell me about it? I said, what's your business? And I recognized the business instantly, let her in. And, she came in and broke down in tears. I have 31 employees, and I was about to have to lay them off. And I said, well, hang tight. Let me find out what we can do for you. So we were able to provide that payroll loan for her the next day. And she made her payroll and saved her employees that she's been carefully managing and grooming for 30 plus years. And so that level of stress that she was facing, I can't even imagine.
Right.
But just the simple fact that we were opening the door and took care of her, and her husband was sitting outside in the truck waiting to see what was going to happen. And so I would never have guessed that as her story. So what I advise all of our bankers and everyone that take the extra minute to get to know their story.
Right.
Because it'll enable you to be more compassionate. You'll have more empathy. You'll be more effective in serving them. You'll be able to help them better. And guess what? They're now banking with us. They've turned over all their business.
Wow.
So it's not just, we're not doing that for that reason. We're doing it because values, that's in our DNA
right. It's the right thing to do. Yeah, it's be kind. It's just going that extra step. And you're right, Dom. You didn't have to go outside and say anything to her. but you felt the need to reach out to her. And I love that. Be kind. It's so simple. It's, the old adage, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. It's so simple. And during this stressful time, and yes, we are all stressed. We are all going through something. We are all dealing with our own stuff. But
Yeah. And one thing I'll say, that the golden rule or golden principle, that's one of our core values, as a business. And so one thing I wanted to mention is what I have seen a lot of businesses and households reinvent themselves in this crisis. And so, Karen, you'll relate to this with your financial expertise. A lot of households are now revisiting and questioning what their true values are. Where do they spend their money?
Mm-hmm.
And same thing for a lot of the businesses. I've seen businesses completely reinvent themselves, so they're not letting this crisis go to waste.
Right.
And they've changed the way they work. The families changed the way they relate to money and their needs, and how they allocate their limited time and resources. Businesses are doing the same thing. So one thing I would say, overarching advice is don't let this crisis go to waste.
Yeah.
Because Karen's story, I met Karen a week or two after I started. She was my first inspiration, and she showed up at the bank and said, I'm ready to help you guys. And she showed up with a big check, say, I'm ready to support you guys. I'm ready to help because I like what you're doing with the bank. Her story that she shared with you, I mean, how many times did Karen have to reinvent herself and be resilient, be strong? And she's one of my favorite just encouragements. To see her every time, I just have to smile because that's that story resonates with me, and more people need to know that. Not just come back, but you come back strong.
Yeah, that's good, Dominic. Karen, did you want to chime in?
Thank you, Dom. Yes, so a couple of things on the be kind, and I can't. So the first couple of weeks when all this started happening, I went on an interview with WIS, and one of the things I shared. So it's odd that Dom and I and Tre had this conversation yesterday. I had spoken to so many service providers that week. I just have relationships with service providers, from bankers to SBA to Small Business Development Center to other Richard County or whatever. And I kept hearing these stories about how they were doing their best. They were working at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and people were calling them, blessing them out. And I'm saying blessing because some curse words involved in some cases.
Yes.
They're getting cussed out. They're getting cussed out.
And the sad part is, if the persons are there and they're already stressed out trying to help you, you calling them and stressing them out even more is not going to solve the issue.
Not at all.
One of the things I do in my company, I have a institute called Synergy Leadership Institute. We train people on how to leverage, we engage, we enlighten, and we empower people and teach people how to leverage their energy and the energy of others around them. One of my favorite statements is, you are responsible for the energy that you bring into the room. So if you bring negative energy into the room, don't be surprised when you get some back.
Exactly.
Love and light into the room, don't be surprised when you get some back. And the sad part about it is we're not even conscious enough to know, because we're so stressed that we're putting off that negative energy. And then our feelings get hurt when somebody comes back at us because we never heard what we said.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to be as nice as I can to anybody trying to help me. I'm just saying, because if I'm calling that person, the likelihood of them really going over and out, over and beyond trying to help me, they're probably going to do it because they're getting paid to.
Right.
Every person, and I treat every person that I deal with, from the president of the bank to the garbage man to the janitor, gets the same treatment from me, the same level of love, that I'm going to come in and I'm going to ask them how their day is going. I'm going to, and then I'm not doing it just to be doing it. I'm doing it because that's just who I am. But I promise you, I have people that will bend over backwards for me. Why? Because they know I'll do it for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go that extra mile for me, that if they're tired and they're like, okay, I don't feel like doing this alone, I don't feel like that, they're going to do that for me because they know I'll do it for them. So I stress to you is, you have your issue, okay? And that's the only issue you have. But I'm going to use the bank as an example at Dom's bank. Dom has 1,000 of you, and they're trying to do their best to give not only service, but concierge service. For me to hear that Optus Bank reached out to their clients and their banks don't do that. Companies don't do that. So that's the type of service that I want. That's the type of company and that I want to have as a partnership. So when you look at your vendors, your lenders, your whoever, they are truly your partners, and you will get more out of them and less stress for you and them when you bring the right energy into the room. Now, the other thing I want to mention is we talked about new opportunities. There hasn't been one crisis that we've gone through that we didn't make it through. So about that. For every crisis that we have had, from 9/11 to the
flood,
to the flood, everything has happened. The common denominator is we have made it through.
Right.
So keep that in mind when you're dealing with your day-to-day basis. But every opportunity, every crisis also brought out new opportunities. So if something that you were doing is no longer there, be aware enough, get out the TV, spend some time with yourself focusing, but don't miss out on the opportunity, because something else is going to rear its head. Something else is going to say that, you know, people are needing this, and maybe that aligns with your skill set. That's the pivot. But if you're not focused, or if you're in the darkness, you can't see it. My favorite quote is by Aristotle. It is in our darkest time that we must focus on the light.
Yes,
so
yes.
Focus on the light. We're a resilient community. Let's come together as individuals, as partners, as team members, and let's be nice to the partner or the person that we have to pick up the phone and call. Let's remember that they're not dealing just with us. And guess what? They have Dom's team has 1,000+ people that they're dealing with, right? And then they have to deal with each other, but they have families too.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Karen Jenkins, Dominique Mijartan. Say it 3 times like Candyman.
I like that better, actually. Maybe I just started using that. That's good.
You say it, Dominique.
Oh, it's Miartan, but
Mijartan.
I like your pronunciation a lot better. Why don't we just go with that going forward?
Well, that's up to you and your family. Miartan. Right. So number 5, we talked about the 5 tips for financial success or financial recovery during COVID. Number 5 was be kind. And that's just basic. You know, again, do unto others, be nice. Everybody's going through something. So you've got to just focus on being nice, so that, like Karen said, you can get that energy back, because you do get what you give. I have a story for that, but that's for another time. Number 4 was take care of the people that you love, the people, whether it be your employees or your family. Take care of the folks around you, and conserve money. Make sure that you are stashing whatever money you can, and also checking your subscriptions and your automatic debits. Is there something that you can stop or delay, or are there some plans that you can redo that maybe you can get the same service for a different amount? Call your creditors. Don't be afraid to talk to your creditors. You don't assume they're going to call you. Call your creditors. And then number 1, overreact. This is something going on. Just chill and think everything's going to be okay. It can be okay, but you've got to do something about it. Thank you both so much for that great information. Karen, if people want more information about you, how can they contact you?
They can email us at info@krjconsulting.com, or you can reach us at our office at 803-727-9036.
And Dominique, how can people contact you at Optus Bank?
The easiest way is to email through our website, and one of our relationship bankers will get back to them, or they can email support@optus.bank, or they can email Kenny at optus.bank. Kenny's my colleague, and he manages a great relationship banking team that will get back to you in 24 hours or less.
And give us your address, the locations of Optus Bank.
We have 2 locations. We have one on Main Street, 1241 Main Street, and then we have one also on Sumter Street. Of course, we're accessible via the web and mobile tools, so please reach out to us if we can.
Thank you. And please follow and like me on Facebook. Don't forget that we are going to move Coping with COVID to my professional page. So please go to Tailor Made Productions and make sure you like and follow me there. Also go to YouTube, like and follow me, and also on Instagram, Tre Tailor and Tailor Made Productions. Now, if you have a COVID-related message, service, or product, I would love to hear from you. I'd love to feature you on Coping with COVID. So please either inbox me at Tailor Made Productions or email the tailormadeproductions@gmail.com. And let's talk about how you can be part of Coping with COVID. I typically leave with a reading from Jesus Calling, and Karen reads Jesus Calling too. So Karen, can you please end with, yes, your Jesus Calling? Here's mine.
I am. Today is June the 13th.
Yes.
Reading from Jesus' Calling. I am creating something new in you, a bubbling spring of joy that spills over into others' lives. Do not mistake this joy for your own or try to take credit for it in any way. Instead, watch and delight as my spirit flows through you to bless others. Let yourself become a reservoir of the spirits of fruit. Your spirit is to live close to me, open to all that I am doing in you. Don't try to control the streaming of my spirit through you. Just keep focusing on me as we walk through this day together. Enjoy my presence, which permeates you with love, joy, and peace.
That's so good. You can go to jesuscalling.com for more information on that amazing journal. It's one of my favorites. It's something I read every day. And no matter when you read it, it just speaks to you. Next week, triple board certified infectious disease specialist, Dr. Alexa Gaffney. She practices in New York. She's going to give us some COVID updates, new symptoms, new treatments, and more things we need to know about COVID. And then we'll also talk to WIS TV sports director Rick Henry. He's going to tell us about high school, college, and national sports. What's going to go on? Are we ever going to see sports again? We'll find out about that and more next week on Coping with COVID. Dominique and Karen, thank you guys again so much for joining us. Linda Phelps-Walker says, thank you all for the great information. Thank you, Linda, for joining us. Please continue to post and share this information so we can get this great message out to the masses. You guys be safe. Take care. Be blessed. Wear a mask and some gloves and have a great Saturday. Thank you, Dom and Karen.
Thank you, Trey. Thank you, Dom.